The GOP is not a political party any longer. It's a cult. Check this out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I just want to lay this out. I mean, this is just becoming so obvious, I think, to most Americans that the Republican Party is not a legitimate party. It's not a legitimate political party and hasn't been for some time. That it's essentially a cult. And it's a cult that stands for one thing: the privilege and power of white men. Over the last 40 years, they developed all these bizarre and Byzantine rules to prevent low-income whites and people of color from voting. You know, like Greg was just telling us about in Georgia. Oh, you don't have a car registered here in Georgia? Well, we'll just hold on to your voter registration until after the January 5th election, and then we'll have a hearing about whether or not we're going to let you vote in Georgia, right? And now they're trying to throw out ballots in Detroit, majority black city, Philadelphia, a large black population. I'm not sure I don't think it's majority black. Atlanta, majority black city, I believe. It's just like, hey, let's pick these places where there's lots of people of color and just blow out their votes. I mean, they have been doing this for decades at both the state and the federal level. And it isn't just that. They've also been working aggressively to prevent women from having access to birth control, to prevent women from having access to women's health services, and to prevent women from having access to safe legal abortions. And you know, they've turned this male supremacy thing into a religion. And of course, as a religion, it's being promoted by the religious hucksters out there as well. You know, when the coronavirus hit, most of the developed countries in the world started making direct payments to workers. Just going around the companies and just saying, okay, how much was this person making? Well, we'll write a check to them up to a certain amount. And, you know, so unemployed people could continue to get by. Norway, for example, right now has an unemployment rate of 2%. There's a lot of people who aren't working. They're getting their paychecks from the government. The economy in Norway is actually growing right now. Of course, they've also got the coronavirus largely under control. But anyhow, here in the United States, we tried this with the CARES Act. Hey, let's give everybody $600 a week. And the Republicans were like, well, we'll go along with that. We'll give working people $600 a week for 2-3 months. But you've got to give the fat cats, the billionaires, the Mitt Romney level rich guys, the really, really, really rich guys, the Kelly Loeffler, a multi-millionaire Kelly Loeffler flying back and forth from Georgia to Washington, D.C. in her own $25 million private plane. You thought having a Tesla was a status symbol, right? We want to make sure that they get giant tax breaks and huge subsidies that don't just expire in 3 months like the $600 a week does, but that last forever. Forever. And the taxes on average working people will start going up next year. And they got it in the law. There it is. Fat cats and big corporations making out like bandits. Average working Americans screwed. The Republicans have worked for years to gut workers' rights, to destroy labor unions, and to hold the minimum wage below starvation levels. They put the profits of polluting corporations above the rights of average Americans to have clean air, pure water, and a safe food supply. They fight to help monopolies and giant corporations control market share while wiping out small and medium-sized businesses across dozens of sectors. They're working as hard as they can right now to destroy America's national parks and wild areas so that their fossil fuel donors can extract more profits from land that was put in trust for all of us, in some cases more than a century ago by Teddy Roosevelt. They're openly promoting lies about global warming to help those same fossil fuel donors at the expense of a possibly civilization-ending environmental catastrophe. They have supported a president who lied about masks and other common-sense public health measures, while the wealthy and the billionaire class are living in their gated private mansions with, live-in bubbled staff, and when they have to travel, they use, like Kelly Loeffler does, they use their own personal private jets. Their campaigns and slogans that have openly targeted people of color for over a century include law and order, save our heritage, our Confederate statues and military base names. Trump is willing to go to the mat on this one, blowing up the defense budget just to keep the names of Confederate traitor generals on military bases. And jobs, not mobs, yeah. This is, from Nixon's Southern strategy to Trump's birtherism. That's the Republican Party. Hating on black people has been their poll star. And then, illegal immigration, quote, the majority of the people in this country, even from Mexico, who are here without documentation, did not sneak across the Rio Grande River. They came across a border crossing in Tijuana or Juarez or El Paso or whatever, like they were coming in here to shop for groceries for the day, and they just never went home. But Trump's got to have his racist wall to prove his racist bona fides, right? And he's built 3 whole miles of it. Yes, they've renovated over 100 miles, but they're always doing that. You can't name a single piece of legislation that Republicans have put into place for the average American in the last 40 years. Instead, they're trying to gut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.